Play hard and love big radio podcast. Inspiration on your station with the show broadcast. You don't want to miss it. You gotta listen. Good vibes and stories for you to go the distance. Bringing inspiration, stories that shine. Helping you connect heart and mind aligned. Live your best life, lift up and soar. Fueled by kumquat energy, we give you more. Play hard and love big.
Play Hard, Love Big Radio, Season 7, Dialed Health. Derek Teel, man, I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for taking the time to be here, brother.
Dude, I'm honored.
Yeah.
It was so fun after our yoga class out on the paddle boards. I can't wait to chat about it.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool. We were just talking about that when I mentioned being on the podcast. You're like, dude, I want to try the sup yoga too. Let's do that first. So Derek and I went out and we did the sup yoga with Lish. And
yes.
Dude,
which she had heard of it and I hadn't, which I was shocked about because we're in the same community, a little bit spread out, but I love paddle boards. I don't own one currently. That's like one thing I've wanted to get into for a while.
Yeah.
But I've always done some version of yoga, whether that's going to a class or following a YouTube video or my own sequence within strength training. So when you said, hey, we're going to get the paddle boards out and do yoga on the water, I was like, that is a slam dunk for me. Dude.
That's
like, let's do this.
Let's do this, man. Yeah. Well, and I knew that at that point that you were my kind of person, you know, because there's those kind of people, and you know, being in the health and wellness industry, right? There's those kind of people that are like, oh, they ask a lot of questions. They're kind of like unsure. And you're just like, yeah, throw me in. Let's go, man.
Yeah. Honestly, it's either that or it's just a fast no.
Yeah, right. That's true.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it was interesting enough, and it's cool because getting to meet you has been awesome. So I love it, man.
Yeah, that's good. So had Lish heard of spotted dog yoga before, or just sup yoga in general?
I think sup yoga, but that it was being done in our area.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. You know, what's cool and you're a business guy, obviously, and killer athlete, but we see the world eye to eye in, I think, a lot of different ways. But there's this book that I've read, and I wonder if you've read it. It's called The Blue Ocean Strategy. Have you read that before?
No, gosh, I haven't even heard of it, to be honest.
It's cool. It's something you should definitely put on your list. But it basically, and the general synopsis of it is that when you start your business, like in a yoga studio, for example, there's tons of yoga studios. And if you're selling the same product, then you're basically in a red ocean, meaning that you have the same product, you're competing for the same clientele. Mm-hmm. But if you can create something unique, that's what you call the blue ocean, something unique that no one else is doing it, and you're doing it in a different way than anybody else is doing it, then different types of clientele just come to you, you know, because it's like you do it the best. So when we started our sup yoga program 8 years ago, it was like, hey, we want to do this. We started it. We started playing with it. And then we just got it better and better and better over the years. And now we're known for our sup yoga program. And I think that that's like one of our blue ocean products that we provide, you know, and so I'm glad that you had a chance to experience that.
Totally. From my perspective, I think that nailed it. And what's cool is how you attract the people that you kind of want to be around yourself. I've noticed that a lot with Dialed Health because my demographic are cyclists and I'm a strength coach. So there was a lot of, it was hard to position at first, or it felt like it, because I'm like, oh man, my industry is like the strength industry, but I'm trying to market to the cycling industry. And so finding my lane helped me have that blue ocean approach, but it also attracted a lot of people that are like-minded like me, like the same reason we're talking now.
Heck yeah.
Where I start having a subscription business and it scales and I meet these people from all over the world. And it's like that Step Brothers moment where it's like, did we just become best friends? Like, yep. Like people send me these emails with their goals. I'm like, this guy's awesome. Mm-hmm. You know, it's dad working hard and focused on just personal growth, has these goals set for like a 5-day mountain bike race in Canada. And like this dude's awesome. You know, I have met hundreds, if not thousands of people like that. And that's what's cool. I like that. It's almost like encouraging to just keep going down that route because you're like, I know there's more people like this out there, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you find them, right? Because you've created that blue ocean that you deliver in, right? Would you say that Dialed Health is like, from what I see in your marketing, is strength training for cyclists?
Yeah.
Would that be the synopsis of how you would say that your business, what your business is serving for the most part?
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, and let's tell everybody a little bit, or tell me a little bit more about your business and what you do with cyclists. Because for me, I'm watching it and I'm like, you're building strength, but you're also providing a lot of mobility training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've lumped mobility, core, activation, everything's kind of gone into that strength training category,
Yeah.
which technically is off the bike work. So for cyclists or really any endurance athlete who's doing a lot of volume in their sport, which just means a lot of time doing their sport, whether that's like running or swimming, triathlon, biking, whatever, you have all of these prescribed workouts that are very specific in your sport, different intervals, different zones, paces, heart rates, all these things to track and measure. And they're all very necessary to get to where you want to be in your sport. But there's all this off the bike work that is 100% necessary to be at your best, especially long term, that you cannot get from any prescribed workout during the sport. And that's one thing I realized was like, okay, well, when I'm making a content and it's got to be delivered in 2 seconds, I can't clearly explain the difference between all the things off the bike that you need to do. So let's just put them all under the category of strength training, and it's really off the bike, and that includes the mobility and the core and all that. And because I have to put those things in workouts, it sort of makes sense. I guess I started to go off on a path there, but endurance athletes have such a high volume in their sport that it's hard for them to separate all of these different sessions. Like they just have limited time and they're limited energy, to be honest, because they're already using a lot of it. So for me, building a strength program, if I don't include all those things I mentioned into each workout, they're probably not going to get it. Not really.
Yeah.
Unless they're my star type of client and they're coming to Spotted Dog Yoga once a week also. You know what I mean? That's like best case scenario.
Yeah, right.
And so I try and work as much as I can into the programs themselves to make sure that everyone's covering their bases. So that is pretty much the umbrella of strength training for cyclists and all the off the bike stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, I like that. Well, and what's interesting and cool too is I was listening to another one of the podcasts. Somebody was interviewing you. It was a couple weeks back. I listened to it, and you were talking about how you were starting to simplify your work. And one of the things you said, and I won't get it verbatim, was that that you're doing the work that you're asking your clients to do. So like you are in the work of what you're
leading from the front.
And how have you seen that that's made a difference for you to be in the work that you're teaching?
Well, from a content perspective and just bringing a valuable product, when you put yourself through it and you're in the same situation, you have needs that you realize all of your members have. And sometimes you don't know that until you're going through it. In fact, I recently started training in person again at my studio.
Yeah.
And part of the motivation was because I could tell I was getting a little bit rusty on modifications, on the conversations about nutrition. And just that quickness I was starting to lose it.
Yeah.
And so, working with people in person, answering those in real time, putting myself through the process, they're all things to make the online product so much better. And so, leading from the front, I think is super important. There's like that debate whether a coach has to be able to perform like their athletes do. And I don't think that that's the case, but I think that if they've never experienced anything like what they're asking their athletes to do, it could be very hard to give them practical coaching advice. And things in a workbook on some date, like some study, like that, it's all valuable, but taking that and actually making it tangible and practical for people to really use and implement is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
It's like a big problem, and not to take us off on another tangent, but it's like our society right now is over-informed but under-transformed. And that is one of the biggest problems I notice. And this isn't just from people that are cyclists. This is everybody. You're so inundated with information and data, and you have advice that's conflicting from all these health experts that you listen to, that pretty soon you're just spinning in circles, not knowing what to do. And you're putting all this time into stuff that doesn't really matter because you're not mastering the basics. There are things that make a difference once you have good sleep, good diet, and good exercise, and try and lower your stress levels. But until those needs are met, it's like the duration of your cold plunge doesn't make that much of a difference.
No
you know
doubt.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all these minimal things again, supplements make a huge difference for people, but like not when you're not eating healthy foods.
Yeah, right.
In
like,
general.
oh yeah, I'm gonna have my
It's
double cheeseburger, but I have my my triple cheeseburger.
Had that greens powder. Yeah.
But I have my greens powder, whatever, Took my creatine today, so I can smoke as much pot as I want.
100%.
Or whatever,
Yeah. And that's it. And then you get in this conversation
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, we say that. Now it sounds like we're not into supplements, but that's not the case at all. It's just
Right.
understanding the real value of these areas. And that's the thing that I know that putting myself through the process has helped with the most, is like knowing, okay, what is really important for people? What are the barriers? And then what are the questions that I have, because they're probably having them too. In fact, that's really how the product went from the general fitness industry back into cycling, was because I started getting questions from mountain bike racers who are some of the best in the world and the best in our country. And I was like, you know what? I have history professional mountain bike racing. I've been a trainer now for 5-6 years, and I'm still kind of having these problems too. Like, I can't be the only one.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's me and it's these top racers in the world and the country, it's like, there's got to be more people,
Yeah, and that's where you really got your niche and your blue ocean, dude.
100%.
That's the blue ocean. And would you say that in the marketing realm, entrepreneurship realm, would you say now with Instagram is like the top of the funnel for you, where you captivate people's attention, and then from there they start following you, and then they start looking more into your things, and then they go onto your site, and then they find the programs and whatnot, and that kind of helps you convert your clients? Would you say that Instagram's the top of that funnel?
It's definitely the widest net just from a reach standpoint for me.
Yeah.
But the things that really convert are these longer form content pieces, things that are deeper. You have a time to explain yourself. It's just that the virality of those are fewer and farther between. In fact, the thing that's had one single piece of content that's had the most impact was a podcast I was on that went viral on YouTube.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so it's like wide reach, deep information, a lot of time for someone to like learn who I am, what I'm about, and then like gain some trust. And then the conversion from that was the most. So even for me, I love what I do on Instagram now, and there's things I want to do more of. But a big goal of mine is to lean more into platforms like YouTube and podcast for that reason. Because I think that, if I had to like do it again, I think YouTube is where it's at. I'm going to push more of an effort that direction. But it's hard to add stuff like that to your schedule, especially with me being the everything of the business. It's like I contract people out, but at one point I tried to scale and I didn't do a good job of it. And then I had to like retract everything. And so there's been so many pivots and transitions with Dialed Health. And to be honest, it's part of the reason I love being a trainer, is because you can train people in a lot of ways. There's just a lot of ways to do it. Like, I've gotten to be a trainer the whole time, which is good.
That's the best part. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also you have the opportunity to be with your family too. And we have a similarity in family too, in some sense. I mean, you have 3 boys, I have 3 boys. Yeah. But you have twins, right? Mm-hmm. How old is your oldest?
My oldest is 6.
Your oldest is 6, and
the twins are 4.5.
Twins are 4.5. Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, okay. So our oldest is almost 8, and then our middle one is almost 6, and then our youngest is 10 months. Oh, so so we both have 3 boys. What's that like at your house, man? You and Lish, how are you balancing the crazy? Is it kind of crazy there? It's crazy in our house.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen like a WWE episode, you can pretty much imagine that's what it is. In fact, I was laughing this morning because Fridays, I don't have to be in work early Friday. And I've been sleeping in a little bit later. It's like that opportunity just to have that nice morning you're looking forward to. And dude, no way. Like this morning, I had 5 minutes with my Bible and coffee, and my boys came out just full gas, ready to like play and fight and do everything, Yeah. So, it is like that. But to be honest, it's gotten so much easier in the last year. Getting all the kids out of diapers. I mean, too, it's like you've done a long stretch without that and then going back into it.
Totally.
Having 3 in diapers, that was, in my opinion, much harder than it is now. Yeah. Now it's like more fun than anything. Mm-hmm. And my wife does the majority of the work, so she gets the credit there. But to be honest, like the fun really does balance out the challenges of parenting, and it's just tiring. Whether it's going good or bad, it's just tiring either way. It's a lot of energy. But dude, when they're all in diapers and I've got to change 3 poops in a row, like a triple poopy,
The triple poop. Oh yeah.
oh
Man.
like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then they're all crying. And the thing with twins is that you can't just grab the baby, because there's 2. And so you can kind of hold 2 babies. It's kind of hard to pick up 2 like newborn babies at once.
Yeah.
But you learn how to do it, but it's just not something you can do. Like that's one thing I realized, if you have a toddler and then you have one baby, you just pick up the baby and hold the baby. But with 2, you can't feed them both at the same time with a bottle even.
Right.
You have to put them in the weird Snuggie, Snoogle, I don't even know what they're called anymore, like the crazy pillows, and prop them up and put like 3 little burp rags under their bottle so that they can feed themselves. And then you get them all set up and they're chilling. And then your toddler comes over and smacks them in the face. And that's what the first 6 months look like. Yeah. And then they all poop their, and it's so funny that I don't know if, we just like I don't know, we didn't do anything wrong, but like our kids weren't on the same schedule. Like you have people all the time that advice is like the worst.
Oh, I know, dude.
And people are like, oh yeah, well, it's like if you're already changing one diaper, just change another. And I'm like, but it's still twice the amount of poopy diapers. Like
exactly.
Like it adds up. Totally. And then also to say that they are just going to be on different schedules is like, no. Yeah. The feeding throughout the night, like you have to help your wife because there's 2. Like I'm not sleeping through any alarm clock. I'm still getting up early to go train. It was like, yeah, I'm happy to be out of that. And the season we're in is really fun. Not to rub it in.
No, man. I mean, I see like, it's again, like our little guy, there's only one of them. And then the other 2, like they're, potty trained and doing their thing. So they're cool, so it's a totally different ball game for sure. I can see that. I mean, holy smokes, man. It's like, I can see like you have one poop and you're like, sweet. And you get up to go do something and it's like, you got another poop. You just got to keep, it's like constant, right? I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes I sit down, I'm like, man, I haven't sat down all day long. I mean, it's unbelievable, Yeah. But that's cool. And I'm glad that you're having the experience with the 3 boys and the WWF. It made me think, I just took my boys out camping for 3 days out in the wilderness up in northern Idaho. It was awesome, man. And
did you take the newborn?
Didn't take the newborn. No, I just take the middle and the older one right now. And then Katie's sticking with Stetson. I think it's just better for all of us, but we stayed in a camp spot off the grid, but across the road from us, there was a bathroom, right? And my middle son, Sawyer, he starts school on Monday and he hadn't completely learned to wipe his butt, right? And so we've been working with him and he was doing fine. And then he put all like tons of wipes in the toilet, clogged the toilet. It was like, oh my gosh, so like maybe like, 20 wipes or 2 wipes instead of 20, right? Well, out there in one of those bathrooms in the national forest, right, they're just like the deep hole you go to the bathroom in. And so he's like, I need help. I'm like, dude, I can't. You got to do it. I'm cooking hot dogs or whatever I was doing. And he comes back and he's like, I did it. I wiped my own butt. And he's like, I used 50 pieces of toilet paper. And I was like, great. Because you can here. Now, when you go to school, maybe just like 3 or 4 pieces of toilet paper. But, like, it's so funny.
Dude, and that's the stuff with parenting. Like, this is turning into a poop conversation. But you know what?
Yeah.
We had chili and sourdough last night. It was like a fried egg on top. It was so good.
Yum. That sounds great.
And
I'm hungry right now too, so you're getting me.
Well, when you have a mouthful of chili and then your son like has to get some help in the bathroom, and that turns into a couple of those like I'm going back and forth from eating my chili to wiping butts, and I'm like, dude, this is just this is the most dad thing ever. I gotta turn my brain off and just help these kids out.
That's it, man. That's it. Play Hard, Love Big Radio with Derek Teel, the poop conversations. That's right, man. It's nothing but a poop storm up in here, man. Oh my gosh. Where are you from originally? Are you from Sacramento area?
Yeah. Well, I was born down in San Diego.
Okay.
Family came up to Auburn. Then we settled in Roseville. And then
when you say family, was it your family as a younger kid settled up here? Okay. So you moved up here and settled in Roseville.
Yeah. By the time I was 5 and going to school, I was in one area, and my parents were really like, their big goal was to keep us in the same schools, same groups of friends. Like my dad grew up and went to like 4 different high schools, and he's like, I just want you guys stationed in one place. So really grateful for that upbringing, and then eventually started moving around California and lived in Tahoe, lived in Santa Monica. I mean, some pretty incredible spots. also lived in some not incredible spots, and it was definitely slumming it in those areas. But the best part about being somewhere beautiful is that, you might be in a apartment with termites sharing a bunk bed that you got at IKEA with another grown man. But when you step out, you feel rich because
Oh,
you're on the
man.
Santa Monica bike path. And then I'm working at Equinox in this bougie gym that, you could basically live out of. So,
And you were training down there when you were doing that?
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So ended up just kind of, it was funny because my wife and I have been together since high school. And, I came up downhill mountain bike racing. That was a really promising career. And then
And you were
wasn't sure
you got
what I was
into
gonna do.
professional downhill mountain bike racing?
Yeah.
Man, I really mumbled that one. You got
Yeah.
into professional downhill mountain bike racing? Okay,
Yeah.
got you. All right.
Yeah, no, it was a very likely career path. Even through high school, there was this potential that I was on the track to do it. And it really wasn't until I turned pro and I'm about 18, 19, where I started like questioning whether or not it is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's one of those sports that's so intense. And if people don't know what it is, it's like probably most comparable to downhill skiing, where it's like a few minutes, super high intensity. You have to be on these lines within an inch, or you could have a devastating crash, a lot of risk of injury. And if the focus isn't 110% there and you're not equally committed, it's just not at that level. It's not really worth doing. And I could tell I was like not 100% there.
Yeah.
And so I backed off and then just went into the general fitness industry, because at the time I had trainers and coaches, and my dad was always very physical with us growing up. He's retired CHP. He had us doing push-ups and pull-ups from the time we were like 8 years old. And so working out wasn't weird to me, but I'd never done it really with structure or with a purpose for sports performance. But the further I went in my racing career and I got on better teams, and they provided these resources, the more it kind of came full circle there. So when I went in the general fitness industry, I'd never really spent time in gyms, but I had all of that training history. And then there was a point where I just had unfinished business with riding, and there's a new sort of format of racing that was getting really popular called enduro, a little bit more endurance focused. And this is more like rally racing, where there's like transfer sections, you're riding to the top of a mountain, but then you're only timed on the descent. So basically that was my 20s for the most part, like my mid 20s, I guess, until I got married at 26, was me in and out of bike racing, training full time, working other weird part-time jobs, because now I'm moving again. And, I'm chasing my wife around the state essentially.
Yeah.
Or my now wife. It really wasn't until I was 26, got married, where I was like, okay, it's really time to focus on work. And that's when I went all in on Dialed Health. But it really didn't even, the dots didn't get connected quite like they are now till a couple of years later. And it was really right before COVID that I put my subscription platform in place. And
right before COVID.
Dude, fall of 2019.
Man, if that wasn't like a blessing, huh?
Huge.
Big time.
I mean, it's crazy how freaked out everybody was at the time. And I was, but looking back, I'm like, gosh, I was in a perfect position. And there was also a lot of opportunity for businesses like that to grow online that couldn't before, because people weren't really as open to the idea of training online.
Yeah.
And I know why now. I mean, the value of in-person coaching is like pretty unmatched.
Yeah.
But also the access and the like cost and just being able to train with like any trainer all over the world is so cool too. So there's like positives and negatives in both directions. But when we went into COVID, like 10% of my income was coming from the online. It was not very much. So that's why it was so scary. Before.
And that was 2019, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2019, fall of 2019, you started that. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
And then basically went all in on that online platform to the point where I was only training online.
Yeah.
By like 2022.
Wow.
2023.
And then what percentage of your income did the online platform?
100%.
100% of your income, right? You weren't even doing any in person at that point.
No, I slowly just kind of chipped away at it. And there were definitely mistakes that I made in that transition that I've identified this year. And I'm actually, before the pod, we were talking about just what's going on, and I'm like, man, I've been just making all these changes to try and make the business more sustainable for growth, because there were things I did early on that just didn't allow for that. And one of them, for instance, was hiring myself for the subscription.
Okay.
Like an online subscription business, especially when you own the own tech, like I did. Like we built the app from the ground up.
You did?
Not me personally, but I
Yeah.
hired a team to do it. But
Okay.
they built it from my website.
Okay.
And so we didn't basically lean on any other fitness app. And in my head, I'm like, I want to own 100% of this business. I don't want to rely on anybody else. I want to have the control. There were good reasons I also did it, but I've definitely learned from this transition because, I essentially started making enough to cover my own bills. And then I was like, oh, like I can stop the in-person training and I'll put more time into this and it'll help this thing scale. And then it wasn't all bad thinking. Like I was still reinvesting in the business, but the reality is like, I didn't have a good accountant in place. I didn't have anyone with newsletter marketing. I didn't have anyone managing any other part of the business besides me creating the content and just like doing as many communications as I can. It's like, I will answer as many emails as I can. I'll do all this and bounce here, bounce there, all that. And that really got me far, especially like at the time, dude. Like my mentality was just like, more is better, work harder, less excuses. You can do it. Rise to the occasion. Like,
yeah.
And I had no boundaries really, but I was starting to go crazy. Like I was really operating on this like tightrope. And this was through the kids being born, through COVID, like all these transitions. So,
and when you say a tightrope, like being in the app, what do you mean by that? Operating on a tightrope?
Well, I mean that I became so obsessed with growth and productivity that I started cramming things to fill up even 10-minute slots in my day for the sake of growth and productivity.
Gotcha.
To where I just didn't have room to like bump into Nick and talk with them for 5 minutes at a coffee shop. Like doing that would give me anxiety because it didn't feel productive.
Gotcha.
That's like the mindset I was getting towards. It was crazy. And it's not like I wasn't friendly or anything.
Yeah.
But everything in me was just leading that direction. And it's funny now because, I had a crazy accident last year, almost died. I had a lot of time to like rethink about all these things. And I almost was swinging too far the opposite direction. There's definitely a sweet spot, like as a business owner, you need to have urgency. You need to get things done.
Sure.
But I know now that it can't come at the cost of my peace. It cannot. And last year I put myself in this like position that really proved it, where I was still recovering from an injury and I was so desperate to getting back to doing the content I normally do and these crazy rides and, growth and scaling. And so I ended up in Switzerland. I had a hole in my hip still. I'm like not healed from this accident. I was in the most turmoil I've ever been in my entire life in my brain. But like outwardly, I'm on a dream trip. I'm in branded kit that's like custom for me. I'm in Switzerland doing this bucket list ride. I'm on this like custom painted bike that costs, you don't even want to know how much. Like
Jeez.
The visual dream internally was the most turmoil I've ever felt. And I was like, dude, this is got to change.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really till that I was like, man, I want to get back to working hard. And I know there's a lot of value in some of these habits that I built. It just went too far.
Yeah.
And I need to have boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there is a lot of momentum coming back to what I'm doing post injury.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things have been getting corrected, a lot of hard, honest conversations. But it's all with that in mind of being like, wow, like you could do everything on paper to make yourself feel like you should be the happiest you've ever been. And you just won't if you're stressed.
Man.
It's just crazy. So, and I think at the end of the day too, like I don't think it adds value to what you're doing from like a worldly perspective. And I really don't believe God wants us to be stressed out for no reason like that. Like why, why?
Yeah.
And I had to almost trust that. I almost feel like backing off work a little bit can be an act of faith for people where they're like, no, like I will be better for being relaxed, like being happy. Like I think I almost started to equate stress with feeling important. And it's like the more stressed I am, the more important things I have going on and the more progress I'm making. And like, it's just weird, man. Like my brain got crazy for a couple of years.
And it's almost like you're saying, and I believe it's almost counterintuitive, you know, like, and I mean, now that I'm hearing this is super valuable for me and for our listeners, because I can get that same way too, man. Like on a tightrope, like busy, need to get this done, have to get that done.
Yeah.
Don't have enough time in the day. So I stay up later than I should. I'm not getting enough rest, you know, and then ultimately something happens. I feel like, you know, whether you get sick or you get injured, and there's like a wake up call. What happened? I know about your injury, but would you mind telling us what happened in that and how that was maybe a wake up call for you moving forward?
Yeah, totally. So basically from that transition online that we talked about in COVID, I went all online. I started growing a lot on social media, and there was just constant progress. Subscribers are going up. I'm making more money. It's just cool. Like to be honest, like coming into 2024, even though I was so stressed, I was starting to not be able, I couldn't fall asleep anymore.
Damn.
Like I started getting like insomnia, and it was weird because I think I was so good at outwardly like feeling okay. Like it was such deep stress that it's like I couldn't even experience it until I turned my brain off, and it's like the subconscious came out. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like I wasn't pretending to other people, but it's like I was pretending to myself. It's weird. It's like I didn't even know. And I thought it was like caffeine related because I was drinking so much caffeine at the time, which I still drink. I'm a big caffeine guy, but like I understand like a quad shot Americano at 5 p.m. is probably going to interrupt your sleep.
Damn. Okay. Quad shot.
Before that, no limits, dude.
Wow.
Like,
dang.
And it didn't really bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, no, it's caffeine, this and that. It was stress. I was trying to outdo myself in every single area of my life, which I think that a lot of like millennials have that like culture of maybe that mindset of doing. Maybe it's just a business owner thing, but it's you eventually can't do that in every area, you know, because it's like, how am I going to work out harder and longer, sleep more, and grow the business and do be a better dad, spend more. It's like you really can't. You have to start taking things off your plate.
Kind of have to start. You have to kind of start saying no to things, right? Like,
and big things too. And but again, saying no to something meant maybe I'm not growing. And so like that was hard for me.
Getting over the mental obstacle of saying no to something that could possibly help you grow, or be more successful or whatever. But saying no to it in a way that gives you more value, more vitality, more health.
Well, and in a way that's genuine too.
And genuine,
you know? You're just being like I really can't do it because of these reasons. And being okay with that. And I think it's almost refreshing, I think, for people when you can just say I don't even like to say I don't have time, because you'll make time for what's important. But it's just like, I don't know. I mean, to get back to the point of that was basically going into 2024, I was definitely feeling myself more than I ever have. Like it was just popping. Like it stuff was.
You were stoked, man.
That podcast I was talking about went viral. I had a couple other things happen. Like business is like booming like crazy and all this stuff. And then I'm on a Tuesday afternoon ride, completely average, definition of an average day.
Where were you riding?
I'm in Lincoln, California.
In Lincoln. Yeah. That's where you live, is in Lincoln.
Yeah. I actually moved a lot closer to where I got hit, which is kind of funny. We moved last year, but it's a beautiful area. It's, it's like suburban farmland.
Love it out there.
Describe it. It's like right up against the foothills. There's farms everywhere, but we're total in a suburban neighborhood. But again, you look left and there's cows. Like it's just a great spot.
That's awesome.
And really family friendly. But yeah, I'm just out on quiet farm roads that are great for cyclists, and went through a 4-way stop and got T-boned by someone who blew their stop sign at like 60 miles an hour.
That's right.
And broke my femur, very bad femur break, fibula, open pelvis fracture, which means like the bones are sticking out of the skin, torn colon, and collapsed lung. Thankfully, no head injury, but I also really experienced and felt everything in real time, which is where a lot of the PTSD I dealt with afterward came from. And so, yeah, that was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life.
You had this accident, and then you said that you felt and experienced. You felt and experienced most of it, so you were still conscious. You didn't get knocked out.
No, I was completely conscious.
Completely conscious the whole time.
I think I blacked out a little bit in the air before I hit the ground, because when I got hit from the left, I the only thing I really did to prevent it was, because it was a split second, but I jumped before the impact.
Okay.
Thankfully, it wasn't a big car, but I jumped like a cat. Like, the only way I can describe it is that I pushed off of my bars and my pedals as hard as I possibly could. Like, it's almost a shame we couldn't measure it, because, you know, like the people, you know, moms lifting cars off of kids. I feel like it was like that. Yeah. But I don't know. I just remember doing that, getting hit. And I think because of the trajectory I was on, it flung me up into the air and just cartwheeled me. And I feel like the velocity from that just like blacked me out. Dang. I did break my helmet in 2 places, but as soon as I was on the ground, I was fully conscious enough to try and crawl out of the road, because I thought I was about to get run over by another truck. Thankfully, they stopped. And first on scene, Lloyd and Lisa, I still keep in contact with them. They're amazing.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
And so they stopped traffic. And it's funny because I lose my train of thought because like so much happened, you know? I was conscious enough to the point where I was able to give Lisa my wife's cell phone number and name. Wow. From the ground while I'm holding my pelvis in my hand. Dang. And losing 2 pints of blood a minute from my hip. So I thought I was going to die from blood loss in the moment. And that would have been very real if people weren't there on scene so quickly. But a nurse was there within 2 minutes. And I just remember her walking up, taking her sweatshirt off, and just stuffing it in my side, just like pushing it as hard as she could in. And that managed the bleeding until the ambulance came. And then it was another 25 minutes of me just staring at the roof of this ambulance, you know, honestly wondering if I was ever going to see my boys again, and if they're going to grow up without a father, essentially. So
that's what's going through your mind.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just kept asking for pain meds, man. They just wouldn't give it to me. The pain was like undescribable. And I have torn ACLs. I've broken 7 bones before this. Like, I had legit athletic, real injuries, surgeries, reconstructions, but this was like on a scale of pain that was so much higher. It's like I would never even compare it to another broken bone or injury. It was like unreal. So yeah, you know, all of that led to a lot of trauma. There was infections after it, wound vacuums, trips back to ER for IVs of antibiotics. And I had an open wound for 11 months after the accident. Dang. So managing all of that, healing from it, wondering if I'll ever do my job again. Those things were hard, but I'll be honest with you. It's like when you really think you're going to die and you don't, that stuff isn't as bad. You know, like I've had people be like, oh, you know, were you worried you'd never ride a bike again? I'm like, dude, I didn't even think about that. I thought about, am I alive? And can I go freaking play with my boys in the backyard?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Those are the only 2 thoughts I had. Can I go run around with my boys? And so when I had 2 days of surgery where I was like so drugged up that I don't remember those 2 days. But when I eventually came to, I had a tube in my chest for my collapsed lung. I had a tube down my throat. And I was in a cast that you could see my toes. And then, you know, I could see the staples in my stomach because they had to do an X-lap surgery for the torn colon. And I couldn't really move. You know, I had a button in my hand for morphine. And then when I woke up, I just looked at the toes, the 2 toes sticking out of my leg cast, and I just wiggled them like, right. That was the first thing I did. And I saw them move, and I was just like, thank God. Like, thank God. And then, you know, thankfully, Dr. Finkelmeyer, the lead surgeon, came in shortly after, He's like, man, I know you're not going to believe this, but he's like, you're going to be okay. He's like, as bad as your injuries were, there's nothing that shouldn't heal that will prevent you from riding again.
Wow.
And stuff like, and he went on with those things, and it was like, it's kind of amazing when you see the injuries. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, it's been 18 months, man, and the aches and pains and the things I'm still working through, muscle compensations, those things are very real.
Yeah.
The reason the scar didn't close for 11 months was because of the hardware that's in. You know, my pelvis alone has 8 screws in it. Some of them are like 4 inches long.
Wow.
2 plates, you know, full femur rod. There's a lot of hardware in there. And when they rub on the skin, the scar doesn't want to close. You know, like I was seeing a dermatologist once a week for like 6 months getting my skin cauterized to try and get this thing healed.
Jeez.
And so all of that amongst, you know, just what I was doing was so much that I just realized I was like, I cannot operate the way that I used to be. And also the first thought I had after all this, like once I really came to, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be okay. The first thing I was like, I want to just get back to doing what I was doing, dude. I'm like, this feels like it was taken from me and it was working.
Yeah.
But after having enough time away and analyzing it and realizing like the stress and the habits I had built, like the good habits and the bad habits. And it's crazy how you can disguise bad habits as good habits.
Oh, I get that.
Weird.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that too. Like a lot of it was like, that's not really a bad thing. But then you're like, oh, well, it is for me because it's going this direction or it's preventing this from happening. So I had so much time to basically sit back and think about that I realized I was like, you know, I don't want to get back to where I was. I want to be in a better place.
Nice.
And like, I'm on that track right now, and it's taken a long time. I mean, the first 8 months, complete turmoil, the Switzerland trip, the just being desperate to do what I was doing, and also really struggling with like work. You know, there were problems that were just compounded by the time away. And so it was a lot to sift through and go through. And, you know, I'm just really stoked to be this far along, and I'm stoked that I did a lot of the hard work early. You know, I addressed the trauma with therapy and so much intervention at church and prayer and community, like that. I faced that head on, and it was really, really challenging. Like, dude, it's crazy. I cried more in that first couple of months, probably first 6 months, than for sure I had since I was a baby.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I can't even remember the last time I had cried before that. And it was like multiple times a day of just like freaking bawling and truly feeling it. You know, it's just like the wildest thing. Like there would be any reminder of like any reminder. It could be anything. It could be anything. It's crazy. The little, like I couldn't watch certain Disney movies. Even now, it still gets me sometimes, but yeah, it's been great to take that head on because now I'm feeling the benefits of it. It was very hard at first. It's not fun to walk into therapy and do like a really traumatic session, but like, man, it like on the back end, it's worth it because if you don't do it now, it's just going to fester into something later.
Yeah. Your body just holds on to it. Your mind just holds on to it.
Oh, dude, like
everything.
The first time I saw a chiropractor after my injury.
Yeah.
I'm like mentally, I walk in, like I'm not the most stable dude at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm together. We're having a conversation like this. I'm stoked to be back into like a little bit more advanced treatment than a nurse in my house. And so he starts digging into my lat, which wasn't injured, but that's the side of my body that hit the car. And this was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months later. Just having a conversation like this. We're doing really light work, not really any adjustments or anything like that yet. He's just doing some manual therapy manipulation. Well, he starts massaging my lat, and dude, I had this flashback of hitting the car and like what it felt like.
It was just like in your body.
Dude, yes.
Wow.
And I hadn't even thought about that part hitting because like, you know, my lower body was the thing that was affected most by it.
Right.
So there was a lot of like weird visuals that I have after like, you know, I would touch my hip and then look at my hand and it would be covered in blood, but it's not but it was in the accident, like
Yeah.
those were the visuals I'd have. But like when he just started massaging my lat, it's like I could feel and see everything that had happened, like for it to be that tight. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it was also kind of amazing. I mean, it's just like what our bodies can tell us is just insane.
Totally.
The way your physical and mental are connected is just like, it's like unexplainable. It's like, I think only God could really, tell us that. We wouldn't even understand. But it's just, it's really beautiful. It is, honestly, how it all works together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, and a big part of it, and what I'm hearing you say too, and where you've transformed into, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that having like faith in God's timeline or his plan for us, like, and for me, like I've in the realm of like rushing or wanting to get more things done and whatnot, like I always seem to get slowed down by something, like I had pneumonia 3 years ago, and I was like, what, how did I get pneumonia?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. I'm a young, healthy dude. And I know, but like after doing the introspective work, it's like, oh, I know why I got it. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was doing more than I like could possibly physically handle, and then it sidelined me, and then I had the moments to like sit back and think about it more and, like recognize where I could make some shifts so that I could be better. And then, but a big part of it for me was having faith that like things are going to happen the way that they're supposed to happen in the timeline that they're supposed to happen,
Yeah. Yeah. This is without a doubt been the biggest test of faith I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it's strange because I think it really challenges you to be honest with your doubt too. I don't think that it's wrong to ask those real questions. Like, it's just like, I went, dude, like, I go to church and I go up. Okay, let me give you an example. So I'm at church. I go to Bridgeway Christian Church right down the road. I'm plugged into the community. I've never once gone up and asked for prayer at the altar. Basically, at the end of a service, you can go up and they'll have prayer leaders, and they're usually elders or some type of like very wise individual, very strong in their walk of faith. They've been vetted. You want this person praying for you. You want your grandma praying for you, and you want these people praying for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like running. Like I couldn't run. I was using my walker to get up there and get prayer because like the way I just needed it was like unbelievable. Because there was the accident and then there was the complications. The complications threw me for a loop almost as much as the accident, because I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to be on a trajectory of getting better. But I woke up with pus and blood all over my leg, and I'm going to the ER right now because I had such a bad infection. And now I have like a hole in my leg, and I have a wound vacuum on that I'm carrying around in a fanny pack.
Damn.
And I got tubes and goop coming out of me, and I can't walk. It's like, So when you go to prayer in those situations and it's like months later, and then you sit in it for another few months, then you have another complication. And then, dude, it's like, it's insane. The way that you need it, only people who have been in that position, I think, will know. And I could tell the people who had been through things like that, things that they really believed they were going to die, or felt so desperate that they knew that their own strength couldn't get them through it. And one was my brother-in-law, who came and saw me in the hospital, who had just beat leukemia, bone cancer. Watching him go through it for 2 years, I had no idea. It's like you try and help, but like you can't even relate.
Yeah.
After that, it's a lot closer. But like he endured for so much longer than I did, So that to me still is like this other level of like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah.
And then, my mother-in-law lost her husband when she was in her 30s, had 5 kids. That's one of my wife's mom. So like these people, my grandma, lost a husband and been through a crazy divorce, like all this stuff. And so seeing people go, the people who had really been through stuff, life threatening, completely life altering, truly not having hope, those are the people that, like, when they prayed for you, when they came and talked to you, it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's a difference. And I think that's one of those things where going forward, hopefully I can have that same impact on somebody, because I can actually empathize to a degree I couldn't before.
Sure.
And ultimately, it's like, it's brought me way more comfortable with the idea that God's plans don't have to fit into my agenda. And that's the thing I still struggle with now. Cause like, it's like, man, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do it for these reasons. And it's like, well, why?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's wrong to want to provide for my family, or to have fun, or to see that I can add value in this industry and maximize the gifts that I've been getting. I don't think anything's wrong with that.
No.
But like, am I okay to not do it because God wants me to do something else? That's hard. That's hard
Yeah.
to think about. But when you go through something like that, think about, like, remember COVID, when people were like, hey, you can't work for 2 weeks. And everyone's like, I'm gonna lose my business. I don't know. This is impossible.
Right.
Well, imagine waking up in the hospital and being like, oh, I'm not saying that's not, it's different, but like, I'm not working for a while.
Mm-hmm.
If I can ever even get back to what I was doing, which, by the way, was a dream job and I loved it. And I was on freaking cloud nine before this happened. So then you're like, well, how is God going to use this for something better, or for any good at all? And so I think that's the thing. I still am honest with myself. I'm like, I'm not going to just say like, I'm happy this happened to me.
Sure.
But I will say I wasn't on a path, I don't think, that really was best for me and my family from a health perspective, or glorified God really. I think that backing off and using the faith to just work at a pace where I can listen. I can listen to God. I can listen to people, talk to people. I can have peace. It doesn't mean I'm going to be less successful. You'll probably create better work because of that.
Yeah. Better
But
connections,
even if,
better work, all that.
yeah, but even if you didn't, even if you didn't reach certain goals,
Yeah.
that still is better. And so it's like, then I don't want to take it to the extreme. It's just like, how far does that go before, everything I'm trying to do is like not what I'm supposed to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be that way, but yeah, it's just questions I've like asked myself since the accident. But I'll tell you, one of the best things I've done, is just like relax, dude. Like, seriously, like that, just catching myself getting stirred up about stuff that's exciting and good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have so many work opportunities that I don't even know what to do.
Right.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, I just went through a period, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
That's the way worse feeling. And also just being like, you know what? Instead of like forcing this call on the drive because it's a 15-minute window where I could be productive and I could make this contact, and I could do this and could do that. Like, it's 80 degrees. I'm just going to roll the windows down and I'm going to turn on this reggae music or worship music or whatever. And I'm going to like put my hand out the window and feel the breeze. That's the type of stuff. I used to be like that.
Growing up,
but too
Best
far.
part.
Like I was, my whole thing was like,
yeah.
I was a dreamer, but not a doer.
Gotcha.
And in that transition of building the habits to become a doer, I just went too far with
You
it.
went way into being a doer.
Yeah.
And you didn't have as much of the chill, relaxed vibe to you.
No. And I got it when I rode a lot. Like, I think that like, that's part of the reason why bikes have been so big, and even working out. It's just like that physical response to it, being outside, like those things have been, like a cornerstone of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like taking the moments between all of this stuff and just taking a breath and then having time to just like sit there a little bit, like just not distracting yourself with, I know we're doing a podcast right now, but even just like, I got to listen to the podcast. Oh, I have this like list of that, dude. Again, the urgency is necessary to get things done.
Sure.
You have to have goals, and you got it's very empowering to like work towards something, new accomplishment, and even work towards stuff when you really don't feel like it. You know, I'm a trainer. Like some days you need to be hard on people. Sometimes people are being lazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need a kick in the butt. Sometimes I do. Sometimes people can be on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're like, hey, you should not do a high intensity interval today. You should go to yoga.
Chill, buddy.
You should go jump in the lake and just like stare off into space until you get some direction. Like you should stare at the wall. We just like need more time doing this stuff.
It's just like, here's my prescription for you. Go stare at the wall.
Yeah.
How
hard would that be, dude, for people? Like, hey, you need to go sit for 30 minutes and just stare at the wall in silence.
How much meditation have you done? Do you do a decent amount of meditation, or is it more like prayer?
It's
prayer. Your meditation,
Yeah, it's a lot of prayer.
Yeah, meditation, the way we teach here at the studio is just to get present in your body. And the real simple way that we teach people to do that is just to bring their attention into their hands, close their eyes, sit up tall, pay attention to their breath, the sounds, all the things, right? And then if your mind wanders, just to notice that your mind wandered away from your connection to your body, and then bring your awareness back into your hands, just as a way to train yourself to be present.
Yeah.
But really what I've found in the last, 15 years of teaching yoga is one of the hardest things for people to do is to sit in silence with themselves, because they become face to face with what's going on with them, with the thoughts that maybe, or the experiences they haven't dealt with, or those things that they just have kind of packed away. And it, I think that's probably one of the most important things that people can do is sit in silence or be in prayer, because it allows them to see things in a clear way.
Yeah. And it's hard to get, especially with little kids at home. Like I know a lot of parents will wake up early to get that time.
Sure.
Half the time you do wake up early and your kid decides to also wake up early.
That's the day they're waking up early
like,
too.
Dude,
oh yeah, I know. I fight with
3 minutes on the couch with your coffee, and then you're like, you hear the footsteps,
coffee in your Bible, and then there they are. That was this morning, right?
It was this morning.
Or in these transformational programs that we do, that's really funny because people will make their like meditation room their closet.
Yeah,
like they go in their closet and they shut the door because their kids can't find them,
or
whatever.
Serious?
Yeah, it's like, or they put a sign on their closet that says "Mommy's time," but they're sitting in the closet with their clothes because that's the only place they can find some space,
Dude.
But yeah,
that's real.
That's you have to create a space. That's an important thing too. If you're going to meditate or pray, right? I think you have to create a space where you do that in a routine in which you can do that. I found the more routine based that I am, that the more like successful I am in creating balance in my life. So
the routine is very important. I'm getting back to that now with my work schedule. It's been very like getting up early, like having a reason to go train people.
Yeah,
like I don't love waking up at 5 a.m. compared to waking up at 6 a.m. or 6:30.
Yeah,
but also, well, the sunrise is pretty nice. That's been good lately. But
yeah,
it's just like getting that structure is nice because you don't want to constantly have to decide what to do all the time throughout your day. So I think the routine's great. I also have noticed that there was a point where I had to tell myself to stop analyzing stuff, like stop ruminating, like stop feeling like you have to pick this thing apart. Like you don't. Like, I got a little too far that way too. So
yeah,
again, it's like all these it's good to self-analyze. It's good to push yourself. But man, it's that balance. It's funny. I grew up in karate, and the whole yin and yang thing is just so real. It's like, we're just designed to be that way. I mean, if you think about our bodies having to sleep or having to sleep every day, one thing like a Sabbath of a day of just like not working is something I'm still striving towards, because my work's so integrated into my life. I catch myself doing stuff.
Sure.
But it's like that rest, man. It's like just to stay fresh, give yourself rest. I think the planned meditation time is really good. I know that even after my injury, I started doing things that I never felt like I had time for. But since I couldn't train, grounding and just standing in my lawn and getting morning light and doing that was my timer.
That's the timer. He's got a hard stop, dude.
Yeah. But doing my morning light, grounding, doing some like a box breathing technique. Like these became the only things I could do. And I'm like, wow, these actually make a big difference, dude.
Man, they make a huge difference. And I feel like when you do those things, everything, the perspective we have in the world changes.
Yeah.
You know, like the lens that we see the world changes. And I also, when I take a step back from work and whatnot, it's almost like marinating a steak, right? Like you allow things to kind of naturally take form, and then opportunities, I think, come up from that space. Yes. I'm seeing more and more of that for me too. Like after going camping for 3 days and just putting it away, I was like, what are my sup yoga classes going to be like this week? Ooh. Like I did the marketing early, but I'm not doing it 3 days leading up to it. Are we going to have people? And I got back and they're full. And I was like, yes. You know, like it just works sometimes like that to take a break, you know?
Yeah. Let stuff breathe. You gotta, that's a good thing. You gotta do the work, dude. You gotta do the work. But like, you know, even for me, if I post an Instagram post, is it more productive for me to refresh it and reply to every comment and like look at the analytics for the first hour and be a psycho?
Right. Is it?
No, it actually doesn't really do anything.
Doesn't do much. Yeah.
And then, just like move away, let stuff breathe, come back to it, you know, and like have that better perspective. That's awesome, man. Like that's a great lesson within itself.
I think that's cool how you said that though. Let stuff breathe, because we have to breathe ourselves, but then we have to let we have to let the world breathe too. Let our work breathe, let our kids breathe, let our spouses breathe. Dude. Like, oh, hey, it's right there, man. You got breathe right there. It's a good, solid reminder. Well, I appreciate you being a part of this.
Dude, thank you. That was rad.
Yeah, I really want to do a quick shout out to Hearts for Heroes USA and Shelly Martell and Bruce Martell. They kind of put me in line of vision of knowing who you are. That's how I found out about you. So thank you guys for doing that. And then also Kumquat Energy and Hydration is a sponsor of our podcast, Play Hard, Love Big Radio. Mauricio, he's the CEO. He lives up here in Folsom, and he's all about creating healthy things for kids and families to drink to keep their hydration levels and energy levels up. So big shout out to Kumquat Hydration. You can take those with you, man, and try them out. There's some caffeine in that one. I know you'd like it, but you know,
yes, I would.
Like Play Hard and Love Big Radio and Spotted Dog Yoga. Our theme here is Play Hard, Love Big, and Live Spotted, meaning be yourself, big as possibly could be. And you exemplify that, man. When I see you online and just meeting you and knowing you and your wife and seeing you with your kids, I know, man, you play hard in your work and your passions, and with your family, but you also like do take the time to create that loving balance. And I can see that you're doing that through working through all your trauma and all the things, but also by taking the time to be in prayer and to be a man of God and a man of your family. And I appreciate that. So thanks for being a part of Play Hard and Love Big Radio, dude. I'm looking forward to doing it again sometime soon, man.
I'll be back at a yoga class. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, we got to do that again.
Yeah,
dude, you're doing a headstand like it's no big deal on that paddleboard. It's like they're like, Lish, are you getting a picture of this? And I was just like, getting this sweet video. Well, man.
I told her because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this again, so you better get it on camera.
That's remarkable, man. Where you've come in the last year and a half, the way that you're moving, dude. I know it's not been an easy feat, but it's really inspiring to see that, man. And I know this podcast is gonna hold a lot of value for people. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And that was a beautiful sign off. I'm sorry to interrupt it, but the Hearts for Heroes Foundation.
Yeah.
That is insane. I had an opportunity to meet all the first responders that saved my life that day at a gala and thank them. And then Hearts for Heroes awarded them with these beautiful plaques. The closure I've had because of them, pretty remarkable. So huge shout to them. And thanks for everything you're doing, man. I was really inspired by that yoga class and seeing the way you did it. Cause I'm like, dude, this is like a true example of like doing what you're passionate about. And then being here in the yoga studio and just like how you've created your blue ocean, is it's just really inspiring, dude. So thanks for everything. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah, man. No, it's my pleasure, brother. Cool. Well, let's get you off to your next spot, brother.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Derek Teel.
Appreciate it.
Play hard and love big radio podcast. Inspiration on your station with the show broadcast. You don't want to miss it. You gotta listen. Good vibes and stories for you to go the distance. Bringing inspiration, stories that shine. Helping you connect heart and mind align. Live your best life, lift up and soar. Fueled by Kumquat energy, we give you more. Play hard and love